GSM. We'll give just a minute for all of the staff to get in here, and we'll be ready to go very shortly.
Oh, there we go.
I was wondering why I had echo like 15 seconds later. It helps if I shouldn't have Frumple TV up on my second screen.
Where'd all the
Okay,
comments
good.
go?
I was
The
just about
table's gone.
I was just about to ask if people can hear on the Frumple TV, but yeah,
We can hear, as I heard.
that's good. There's a lot of people here. Okay.
I'll wait for a second.
Okay. Are we good? Do you want me to get the wheel on screen?
Go ahead.
Okay, folks. So, so people know, we do take suggestions for GSM location in the Discord thread under community issues. So this wheel contains all suggestions so far, or haven't yet to be picked, and yeah, let's spin it. Okay, so an undeveloped Roseline West station. We have to. It's not specific,
Oh.
so we have to choose one.
Oh, that's great. Pull up time map.
If people can just suggest which one to look for to do it at, then we can head on over there.
Rose West?
Rose West. So it's like the newest extension.
Wow.
I still think that's a very unfortunate name.
Oh, for what?
Okay, well, I think the only one I'm looking at Dynamap. All of them seem
RW3 is fine.
developed.
RW3 is okay.
Well, okay, RW3 is far enough from everything.
RW3.
Yeah.
This is different volume from last time as well, so...
Oh, if you hear birds chirping, my back window's open.
Yeah, just be mindful, we are close to other towns.
Right, I am going to copy in the staff table, and then we can get going. Always got to have a staff table.
Apologies for the stream. It seems my OBS is crashing my Minecraft client, but I'm gonna try to get back on here.
Well,
Is this Erzville on the other side?
one side is Ursville, yeah. That's not... Is that part of Ursville? I can't tell. I don't think it is.
Obviously work in progress.
Ursville's to the left.
Okay.
To the west.
No, it's not apparently.
Yeah. So yeah, try not to go too crazy with this. We need to roll this back after. So try to keep it in a constrained area.
Yes, please. Don't go crazy.
Right, I'll leave someone else to finish the carpet on that table. I'm going to grab a seat, and I will announce the results of the private portion. So first of all, welcome everyone to the April 2024 GSM. Apologies, I've been absent for the last few, so this is actually the first time I've seen this wheel, so pretty exciting for myself. A couple of topics today. First of all, we'll be announcing the results of the private portion where staff have voted, and we did get a sufficient quorum for Mountbatten, which by Mode 1014, which was up for Premier. We've then got a couple of conductor candidates, both Network Southeast and 6Pro will be up for review, and then we're going into two community issues before we vote. So I should have been prepared and actually had the voting document up somewhere in my history. Here we are. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 votes in 10 votes on Mountbatten, so we did meet the quorum. We needed at least 7 votes for it to go through. The vote for Mountbatten was 1 vote in favour and 9 votes against. So unfortunately, at this juncture, Mountbatten will not be promoted to Premier. We have got plenty of feedback. There's still a couple of staff members typing that up. So at some point after the meeting, we will be sharing that feedback with Moj. But unfortunately, in this instance, Moj will not be having his 3rd Premier town. Just a couple of additional details we've recommended before we would consider it further. And then, before we get into the public portion itself, I'd just like to make a personal announcement. The staff have been aware of this for a little while, but I'd just like to let everyone know that during the month of May, I am personally going to be having what I'm calling a tech detox, where I've just been using my personal computers and such a bit too much. So I'm going to be taking the month of May away from the server and other online things apart from within my job. So throughout the next month, you will see significantly less activity from myself. But that's with the intent of I'll be coming back in June with a significantly better work-life balance. So yeah, hopefully I'll be back in June and attending these meetings again. Without further ado, we are going to go ahead and go into the first public portion topic, which is conductor applicants. And our first... Sorry, go ahead.
We do need someone to take minutes. Do we have a volunteer here, please? Or do you want me to take it? I can take it.
I think that might be the case, I'm afraid, Rumple.
Yeah, I
Alright.
would volunteer, but I might have to run off at any moment notice.
Okay, go
I
ahead,
can
Sam.
do it if you don't want to, but I don't.
You know what happened last time I took it.
Thanks so much.
Fortunately, Simon's here to lead the meeting, so I don't have to do both. But yeah, I can do it.
Thanks, Rumple. So yeah, first up we have Network Southeast. The way we'll start this is we'll all give an initial for, against, or neutral, and after we've all given our initial votes, we will then discuss and may see if any votes change. I have randomised the list of staff, so in no particular order. First up we have Missa. Missa is a neutral. Next up is Vicky. I don't think Vicky is here, and we haven't received an absentee ballot from Vicky, so Vicky will be recorded as not voting. Next up is myself, and I am a neutral. Next up is Needon.
4.
Needon is a 4. HVT.
Neutral.
HVT is a neutral. AP.
I'm going to vote for.
AP is a 4. Next up is Empolo. I'm not seeing or hearing anything from Empolo, but it looks they are in chat. There we go, thank you. Empolo is a 4. Next up is 70, who submitted an absentee ballot, and he was 4. Foot Chicken.
Neutral.
Skelly Zomperman submitted a absentee ballot, and Skelly was a 4. DNA.
4.
Was that a 4, sorry?
4, yeah.
Thank you, you just cut out for me slightly. Zwoj has submitted an absentee ballot, and he was 4. And last but not least is Frumple.
I'm voting for.
So after the initial round, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in favour and 4 neutral. So as it stands, Network Southeast will be being promoted. I'll read off the absentee votes before we get into a discussion. Zwoj has said, so all three of these are 4 votes for consideration. Zwoj said that they think that Network Southeast would be a great fit based on their recent interactions. 7D has described them as very mature and helpful. And Skelly says that they're an established member of the community, is mature and knows what they are doing. Anyone like to open us up to a discussion?
I've had nothing but positive interactions with Network Southeast, so I'm very happy for them to become conductor.
Just a foot. You're changing that to 4. Can I just confirm that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Foot has switched to in favour.
Actually,
I
oh, sorry. I was going to ask Foot. Since you just did that, can you care to explain reasoning there behind it?
I just because enough other people said 4. I was only neutral because I just wanted to wait and see what other people did, but switched to 4 because there's just so much other support already. So.
Oh, okay, but this is your vote. Don't let us sway you.
Oh, I know.
That much, but okay.
just
I did not always vote for right away. I do want to switch.
Okay.
just for me, because I am remaining neutral, it's just a case that I have been pretty inactive lately, so I don't know enough about Network Southeast. Nothing to provide concerns, just purely lack of experience personally. I am not hearing anything further, so unless someone interrupts me in these closing seconds, we will close off the voting.
Oh, I will just say, NSE, I've experienced with on server, the pleasant member.
Yeah.
Great. With that, we will close off the vote. So the final vote will be 1 did not vote, 9 in favour, and 3 neutral. And based off of that, Network Southeast will be being promoted, which we will complete after this GSM.
Congratulations.
Moving swiftly along to 6 Pro. Again, I have neutralised the list of staff again. And first up will be Frumple.
Oh, I'm first this time. 4.
70 is absentee vote 4. Needham.
Neutral.
Vicky is not here, so will not be voting. DNA.
4.
M Polo. M Polo is neutral. AP.
4.
4, thank you. Thoughts? Foot is neutral. HUT.
Neutral.
HUT is neutral. Zwoj is an absentee vote and has voted neutral. I, Simon, will be voting neutral. Skelly has absentee chosen not to vote on this.
Okay.
And last up is Missa. And Missa is a neutral. So reading off the absentee ballots before we get into a discussion. So 70 has voted in favour, saying that 6th row brings a good experience to the conductor team. Zwoj was a neutral for the principle that Zwoj didn't know 6th Pro well enough. And Skelly's chosen not to vote because he believed that 6th Pro had enough experience but was concerned over the activity. So rather than voting neutrally, he decided not to vote instead, so it didn't count against 6th Pro.
Okay.
So, sorry, I don't think I've read off the initial count, but based on current votes, we have 4 people in favour, and I think that's 7 people against. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yep.
6,
7.
7 against. Sorry, 7 neutral, not 7 against.
Yep, 7 neutral.
Anyone like to open up the discussion?
76.
I mean, I think similarly to NSC, I've had positive interactions with 6 Pro as well. I know I had a look around his town not long ago. Seems like a very friendly player. He's good at communication, so I'm happy for him to become conductor.
Yeah, similarly, I haven't heard any issues with 6 Pro. Seems, not problematic at all. So.
Again, for me, it's just lack of experience recently. So, yeah, voting neutrally because I've certainly got nothing against, but nothing to point in favour as due to no recent interactions.
Does this sound like a case of maybe 6 Pro just needs to be on the server more? Because there was some concern about activity. If you look at the activity stats, February was lower than our usual threshold, but the other 2 months were better, especially the last month in March. So
Yeah.
I think that's a fair reflection. It would just need additional. We'll just need additional time on the server to over the next 3 months, assuming that 6 Pro wishes to reapply.
I'm just going to read a polo here. From my few interactions with 6 Pro, I think they're a nice member, but I haven't had enough interactions with them to be confident about voting for. I can be swayed in favor, though. So, okay. Okay, any vote changes?
Doesn't sound like it, in which case we will finalise the votes for 6 Pro as being 2 did not vote, 4 in favour, 7 neutral, and that will not be a promotion for 6 Pro as they did not have 50% or more in favour. Moving swiftly along, we'll be going into topic 5A when I can find the right document on my second screen. Where are we looking?
The document too.
There we are, public portion. So we are now moving into topic 5A, which is 7D looking to repeal Rails line 7. The document's linked in the GSM agenda, and I'll post it into meeting chat shortly. I'd encourage everyone to read it just before we get into a more of an open discussion.
So if you guys were... Oh, go ahead, Dana. Sorry.
That's what I was going to say. I think there was the problem where we weren't too sure where we would be placing warp signs if we were to go through this proposal. I think that's something that probably needs to be decided,
Yeah,
or have no restrictions on it at all. And there was something I was saying in the chat was that if we decide for a specific sign placement, like so we have to place it on the wall of the station or whatever, I said maybe it might be slightly difficult to enforce, but then I was also saying that we already have a maximum length restriction, not maximum length. The routes that trains have to follow have to be realistic. Like the tracks can't have any missing segments anyway. That's already a rule that we have. So I was sort of saying that although it might be slightly harder to enforce, we already have other things on a similar level that we don't really enforce that much, so I don't think that matters too much.
Just before we get any further, I will summarise for people that may be listening in to Frumple TV or listening in post, just so they understand what we are discussing. So Rail Line 7 currently requires that every station every warp station has a train presence, as in you can't just have an empty track in place. So by repealing that rule and therefore not requiring a warp train to be present at those stations, what that would mean is that the benefits proposed is that it would allow for better warp train and train carts integration, where you could have a let's say you have a train carts line between two stations, but then you can have a physical warp as if like you are warping along that existing train carts line. Currently, that isn't really possible because if you want, well, certainly if you are wanting them to operate on the same platform, so the suggestion is that we can allow that these warp stations don't need a vehicle present, so you can have a quote-unquote warp train that isn't actually there, operating on the same tracks as the train carts line. So I'll put my opinion across here, and I am not really convinced by the arguments. I think I personally do like the that we have to have those physical trains present. I think it adds a lot of detail to stations, and by doing this, my concern is that you have like theoretically any town can have 20 different services operating on the same track, and you effectively just create a warp board next to it. I think if we were implementing this, I would want something on the sides where, like, similar to flights, where every plane can have a maximum number of destinations. I would want a warp rail track to have a maximum number of destinations also, but I think that's just going to get really messy. I think for me, and please feel free to correct me, but I don't understand why these platforms have to be co-located. I do wonder if you have a warp service operating on the same line as a train cart service, why can't stations just have two different platforms, one for the warp train line, one for the train carts platform, and then the tracks can physically merge into each other, but you will either go onto a train carts platform or you go onto a warp platform, deciding on what you want to take.
So as a possible explanation, though, don't quote me on this because I don't know, I haven't talked to S7D about it, that's the rationale for this, but I think there might be some station, like warp rail stations or train cart stations, that don't have enough space to expand, especially if you're right in the middle of a city. Even underground, there might be other things in the way, so maybe that might be the rationale of why, like, you know, it's not as easy as just adding another platform in some situations. But maybe
I am
correct me there.
Yeah, I am kind of on the fence about this myself because I do think a lot of the stations we have are far too big for their own good anyway, and something that can make them a bit more compact, I think would help with that massively.
So what I don't want though is to allow stations to effectively have a warp board where, like, I'll use Blue Rail as an example. That's not to say anything about HUT, but it's to say about large networks. But effectively, if I have from any small town, I could just put a warp, and anything that is connected, any other station which is connected to Blue Rail tracks, I could theoretically have a warp to, which means that all of a sudden, from a council town in the middle of nowhere, all it takes is for one rail line to be established, and now they've got 150 different connections.
Yep. And on top of that, I guess someone could also technically build a line that has no trains at all. So it could just be a board on both sides. There's no actual physical train. The tracks are there. But yeah, I think Frozen brought up that issue in the thread earlier.
I think I think that the bigger concern for me was the fact that if we have the signs outside of the trains, I feel like it probably breaks the immersion of warp trains a little bit. I mean, when you get on a warp train, you can spam click the sign and whiz down an entire line. But when the signs are outside of the train, it's like, well, you know, you might walk to a platform and spend half the time looking for the next sign to get to the next stop. So I don't really know. I think the only way to be able to fix that is by enforcing a location to place the sign. But then that sort of becomes a bit iffy to do because it's kind of a hard thing to enforce, in my opinion. So.
And we also have to add rules onto that, which I prefer that we keep the rules as simple as possible, not add more conditions.
So I also look at parity between that and warp boats, where for warp boats we explicitly put a rule in place where boats have to have the warp signs physically present on the boat, and that was because we saw at its extreme a wooden boat put in place next to a water with just a warp sign next to it, and like it's just people wanting transit connections and putting very little effort into it. And I'm concerned that so yes, there has to be effort because you're building the rail line tracks, but all it takes is a connection to any one other town that's connected to the big warp rail network, and all of a sudden, yeah, you can just place a warp board in your town and have 50, 100 different connections.
Also,
And in favour of keeping the rules simple, I don't want to have like 7 different rules saying exactly how you must have warp rail signs. I think just saying you must have the vehicle present still, it just simplifies things.
So, just so people know what the status quo right now is, we do have one exception. So overall, yes, for trains, planes, boats, the sign has to be on the vehicle itself. But we did make one exception that was added a few years ago, with buses, because especially for maybe local buses, people didn't want to build buses on every bus stop. So we said that it's okay if you build it on the bus stop, like the sign. Or the pole, I guess you could say, rather than just having buses at every stop. I did bring up, since that's an exception, if we decide to approve 7D's proposal there, then we'd just be adding more exceptions here. Now, trains don't have to have signs in them. So my question is, do we want to go in that direction, or does it sound like we just want to keep it just to buses only?
I would suggest buses only, and I'm thinking that for the opinion that with a bus, often we will break realism somewhat because we'll have a 5-block wide bus that operates on a probably 3-block wide lane, and if you have 2 bus stops opposite each other, then physically there just isn't space for those 2 buses.
And then up a 40% incline that would look hideous.
Yeah, that too. Whereas I think for trains, which are typically underground, I think the space restrictions are lessened. Therefore, I don't think it needs the exemption as much.
So there is a difference with the bus and also other vehicles is within a city. And so it's not a distinction between bus and train, but between within a city and without a city. Just clarifying.
And also, things like buses, they can be, if they're completely static, they can cause other issues with other transit around. There's, at the moment, a problem in Ellerton where there are trams that just phase through the buses because that's, if we had to kind of require that at all times, that could lead to some problems. Make it arguably less realistic.
So I am sensing right now that the majority of people that are speaking are leaning in favour of not approving this. What I'd like to do is just give the opportunity for any staff who may be in favour of it to speak up if you want to make your point heard.
Or maybe members who are listening to the meeting as well, because I don't.
Yeah, of course.
Because again, one of the problems we had from the last GSM was we didn't know what to do, but we also didn't have a good sense of whether people want it or not. So if people who are listening now, if you're in meeting live, feel free to say your opinion. If you're in favor of keeping the status quo, or if you're in favor of, enabling these sort of shared rails between the train tracks and warp rail.
And also for the people in the staff meeting channel in Discord, if you'd like to speak, please feel free to put your hand up, and we can bring you into the speaking channel to hear your opinion.
As an aside, people were fishing me in a lava hole. And now I have suddenly 20 different effects on me, and I'm also, I think, in darkness, so I don't know what's happening anymore. I hope you guys have your fun.
Somehow you are 2,600 blocks in the air.
Oh, great.
I didn't do it, so I don't know.
I don't know how that happened.
Protocol is saying maybe we can just require trains present at each terminus of the line. The issue with this is then you have to add a rule that says that, and I don't think it really solves anything there.
Yeah, because you could just have one train somewhere on the network, and then still have that warp board.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And like at that point, we're getting a bit too specific.
Yeah. No, I don't need any milk. All the effects are gone now. So I don't know. From what I'm seeing, it seems like it's like 7D really seems to have really wanted this, but outside of that, I haven't seen much support either from like warp or train card companies.
I'm fine with it, with how it is right now.
Yeah. And Polo says, yeah.
And
Oh,
yeah, similarly, I'm looking in the Discord thread in community issues, and yeah, there wasn't that many people voicing their opinion either way.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm still relatively neutral on this topic, so I'm not leaning strongly either way.
Yeah, whilst we're here, I feel like this is maybe something that should be clarified. Train carts for local transit that are not actually trains.
Yeah, that's a separate topic, I would say. I think Dinty, you've made a thread about that. I think for the time being, like anything that's, you know, what you'd expect to see in a city, like buses, trains, trams, yeah, that's fine. You can go all out with train carts with that. But I have seen some people start thinking about, oh, let's use train carts for planes or other weird kinds of transit. So that feels like a different topic, and we think we need to bring that up. I don't know. That one I don't know what to do there.
Yeah, as an example, like I think Ursville has train carts, ferries at the moment, but they're all following canals and.
Yeah, I'd say that has to be a separate topic and, you know, fleshed out of what we want to do there.
Yeah, let's chat about that next month when when the community issues topic is a bit more fleshed out.
Or someone else can submit a like a full write-up on that. Feel free to do that.
So, based on having heard nothing in particular favour of this 5A proposal, unless I hear something in the next 5 seconds, we will be going ahead and rejecting 5A.
Do we want to do something about this rail line here,
Right.
which already has done that?
It's a can of worms. I don't like it.
No.
In which case, that we will be saying that 5A is rejected, and all like Rule 7 will not be repealed, and therefore all stations must still continue to have a vehicle presence.
So wait, hold on. Are you saying that there is someone who's
Well,
already...
this has been built for like a while back, but like,
Okay.
I mean,
I think Ursville, I'm not sure if there's actually warp signs in the trains, but they definitely have a hybrid system.
this
I mean,
just
simply
goes-
we'll just tell them that this isn't allowed, like no warnings.
Yeah,
but they just need to
I'm
get
not sure if the
signs.
one in Ursville
Yeah.
is just
been
decorative trains or not. I can't remember.
Yeah,
been here for a few
Urs-
years.
Are we allowing decorative exteriors for trains still?
Sorry, what
Sorry,
do you mean? What do you mean?
So if you've encased the track in a train, but it's just decorative, is that still allowed?
Yep, completely fine. The restriction is solely
So
on
it's just for warp signs.
yeah on warp signs must still be located in the vehicle,
Okay.
and there must be a warp. If you're having a warp, there must be the train must be present in the station still. HRT, could you take the lead, please, on letting whoever owns this line that they have to change it?
Sure.
Thanks.
Thanks.
So to be clear then, so hybrid trains are still allowed as long as you have the warp signs within the train.
So what do you mean by hybrid system? Like,
Because last time when we visited Ursville, how the tracks actually go through the train itself.
Still in the
that's
train,
still
though.
allowed by these rules then.
Yeah, there's
Yep.
there's a
So I
warp
think
sign.
that we did talk about that last time. I wasn't sure if that's
Yeah, we're just mandating that there still has to be a warp
Okay.
vehicle presence. Similar to boats, how the sign has to be physically placed on the vehicle. Okay, with that we will move on to topic 5b, which is a topic by Whale1668, who is looking to repeal the ban on piston bolt rail lines.
1 second. So the rule doesn't change; it stays the same. Correct. The other one.
Yep,
Yeah,
this-
correct.
Yeah.
We are not changing. We are not lifting the current restriction on 5a. The current restriction remains.
Sounds good.
So yeah, we are now on 5b, which is Whale proposing the ban on piston bolts. So for a bit of background to this, for anyone listening, originally piston bolts were banned. We're going right back to the old world here, due to significant lag that it caused, both in terms of lighting updates, redstone firing, and players loading the chunk. It was banned by the server quite a long time ago. We're probably going back to 2013, 2014. I don't know the exact dates. However, since then, the redstone and lighting updates have got significantly less severe on the server, with various Minecraft optimization in patches since. So the proposal is that as there is no longer a concern for lag that would be caused by these, that Whale is requesting that we repeal the ban on them. Anyone got any strong opinions that would like to start this discussion?
Is there really a need for them? Like, we've just brought the train carts plugin, which allows similar speeds, if not faster, without lag. So without the processing of pistons.
So I suppose I will play devil's advocate here, and the question is, why should they remain bans? We are a creative server where we should allow people to express their creativity, and a piston bolt is still a valid method of transport. When we have things like dragons and we endorse things like that, actually, is a piston bolt the most unrealistic thing? And the answer is probably no.
I mean, I don't really imagine that too many people will be using piston bolts now that we have train carts. So I think I'm mostly okay for this for the ban to be repealed.
So I just played devil's advocate, but now I'll share my opinion, because I am definitely leaning more towards keeping the ban. So my personal opinion is that, unlike other redstone creations, I think what is unique about piston bolts is the length of them, and I have seen many times before where a rail line is accidentally welded through by another welded line, and all of a sudden you completely lose that connectivity. Not a problem. It happens. People, we can apologize when it happens. My concern is that when we have these highly technical lines, it's a lot more complex to fix than just placing a few tracks and placing some redstone torches to keep them powered. And actually, it becomes very difficult to maintain that when if someone accidentally breaks the line, and therefore I am concerned that this could lead to arguments forming and general resentment growing on the server.
So just to add to your point there, Simon, I think when you were mentioning those crashes that happened before when someone tried to cut or paste redstone or move redstone builds, is that what you're referring to?
No, so I'm more talking. We've got an existing. You've got an existing piston line, and then someone is pasting a rail line, and it accidentally goes through it. They're just doing a long stack and don't realise that the line's in the way. So now we have a second line that has gone through that line. There's going to be significant maintenance in getting the piston bolt line fixed, and I see some resentment because it is a highly technical build, which means that whoever has to fix it is probably investing a lot of time into realizing how it works, how they physically place the rails to get everything to align properly.
Okay. That's a good point. I think what you just said sort of just made me think of a different point, which actually might be more against, makes me more against it. Is that if you recall, there's been an ongoing issue of World Edit where I think it happened as soon as we installed train carts, but if you try to move or cut and paste a build that contains redstone, it's something to do with neighbor issues or like how it resolves that sort of thing, but it's caused the redstone on the server to completely crash. This is something Sesh has discovered. Frozen's been shown this a few times and tried to tell the train carts dev about it. But it's sort of a situation like we don't know where the bug is originating. It feels like maybe it's a World Edit issue. DNA, I think you've also, like the fence issues that you've seen, I think it's a very similar issue. Yeah. So if that bug is still around, I haven't confirmed. There's a new version out, but I haven't if that bug is still around and we allow piston carts, I'm actually concerned that if someone starts pasting or stacking a bunch of these, it could cause those crashes. May cause those crashes to happen more often. So far it's only happened twice, I believe, since in the last few months. But so it is a rare thing that happens, but it is at the moment unresolved. We don't know how to avoid that.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't aware of that, but yeah, that would be that is concerning to me, and yeah, my opinion remains in that case that I'm not in favour of it.
Yeah. Sorry, just to clarify, when the redstone crashes, just so people know, the fix we've done is restart the server, and once the server's restarted, it's all good. But when it happens, it gets really weird because it's like you place a redstone torch, and then there's like you place a bunch of wire next to it. The signal only goes up to one block and stops, which is not how redstone works. So it's also kind of hard to it's kind of hard to detect when that crash happens, because it's sort of like people start saying in chat like, oh, redstone's being weird or something, and then we admins have to come in and look at it. So
is there anyone that is in favour of the proposal that would like to speak up? I noticed that Whale is present. I'm not sure if Whale was in the voice chat and would like to say anything about this, or if anyone else would like to give an opinion in favour of the topic. Again, please feel free to type into meeting chat, or if you want to talk in the voice chat, please raise your hands.
There's one, I think.
Hi, Whale. Yeah, we can hear you there. Please go ahead.
Hello. Thanks for having me. Yeah, you can hear me, right?
We can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so I've been away for a bit. I've had like 3 nights and a few fever dreams to think this over, and okay, so about the World Edit crashes, or I guess to do with update suppression. So I think y'all have been seeing this over like the past few months, right? Basically, like people will World Edit like a lot of redstone in at this time, and then at some point, like I guess something inside either World Edit or the paper like software would just totally crap itself, and then no more neighbor updates can happen, right?
I don't see how calling paper crap is relevant here, but yeah,
no. I don't mean I did not mean to say call paper crap. I meant to say that something inside the World Edit or the paper, I guess. Okay, let me rephrase that differently. Something malfunctioned.
Yeah, we don't know whether
that's how it happens, right?
We don't know whether it's World Edit or train carts or paper.
Or just something happens, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, really fair. I'll say that. Although what I will say is that at the moment, I mean, Frozen isn't here. He's also the one who did most of the World Edit, so unfortunately, we won't know what he has to say about it. When we were building the piston rail track on data, I'll say that none of this did happen. I think the closest we managed to get was when I think I asked MC Yoshi at one point to, because what Frozen had to say about the piston bolt was that he actually recommended a bit of lag testing just to set that concern to rest. And he said that he wanted us to like world edit like load of piston bolt tracks in and then just go spam test them to see if that would lag. So in the process of that, I created one track and then asked MC Yoshi, who is a duck, to come in and just clone the track, like, I don't know, a lot of times, probably over 100, and run them all at the same time. One trouble that we ran into was that we didn't paste the comparators correctly.
Okay. Hello?
Um,
Oh.
We've lost you there, Whale, if you're trying to still talk.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, we got you again now.
Yeah,
You cut out for probably 10 seconds.
You cut out
Last
when
thing-
we were talking
probably
about the
10
comparators.
seconds.
You talked about when Yoshi
Yeah.
was saying he pasted the comparators incorrectly, and then you got cut off. So start from there.
I think that was most of what I had to say for like the world edit topic, though. So yeah, if you're wondering exactly what I meant by incorrectly, like there's just a line of comparators at the bottom of the line, and when he pasted them, they were just not there. That was the extent of the trouble that we had.
So just to be clear, that's something you didn't expect to happen with World Edit, correct? That's just you don't know why
That's
that
something
happened?
none of us could have guessed.
Okay. And do you have any suspicions of why that happened? Like, is it a World Edit bug? Is it some?
Is it a world
Alpha?
edit bug? I mean, if I had to guess, it would be. I cannot think of any other testing environment where we had this happen. I mean, like,
Is it possible that Yoshi didn't put the command correctly, or like some other thing?
only pasted some of the comparators.
So I'm trying it now. So
wasn't
if you
filtered.
if you fly above the GSM area, you can see a line I'm trying, and it seems to be on the first stack. That if the block below it, I suspect it's if World Edit is putting the comparator in before the block below it, and then Minecraft thinks, oh, there's no block below, so break.
Ah, I see.
Oh yeah, Paper does that update checking like really aggressively. So I guess.
Because if I'm stacking it twice and it works the second time, just not the first, because there is now the glass below it, but not the first time.
Because I guess you actually do bring up a good point. That does happen, I think, when people on other servers will, like, I don't know, use the Lightmatica paste function. Obviously, that's not allowed. Not that it's not allowed. It literally doesn't work on the MRT. But what people would notice is that since Lightmatica doesn't particularly care about whether or not the blocks in the schematic are of a legal arrangement that can be created without a debug stick, sometimes when it gets pasted in, Paper does a second check where it checks to see if block states are all valid, and if not, it just breaks them.
So I don't really think that affects this proposal because, well, the World Edit issue doesn't, because it looks like if you just paste for a second time, then it fixes it, or
Perhaps.
stack it for a second time.
Okay.
Yeah, I will be honest that my main concern remains.
Your main concern is with. Well, it's not just the complexity. It's the complexity. I think it's the tell me if I summarize this correctly. It has to do with the complexity of the piston bolt, such that when it breaks for any reason, be it somebody uses the left click at an inopportune time, or somebody cuts through it with a world edit, or it gets griefed. Whichever poor soul has to come over and fix the thing is now going to have to invest a lot of their time, or that person might not even know what to do, or where to start, or what the heck is supposed to happen.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was a concern I raised, but I'm also now concerned about what Frumpel brought up, which is like pasting in a lot of redstone has demonstrably on the server caused redstone to stop across the world. And I don't know what that is whether we can diagnose that, but until that happens, I'm not in favour of let's expand use of redstone.
To be fair, based on what you said, it looks like you and Frozen were able to paste a whole bunch of redstone already, and as far as I know, there hasn't been an issue on beta, except maybe I think Foot was like the tab list was going up but that's because beta doesn't restart like the main server, but I think that's completely unrelated.
If you want to know, we
So-
pasted like 4 kilometers of track all at once.
I did see the track, so that is a lot. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
Okay, here's what I'll say. Totally legit reason that you guys don't want to expand the use of redstone because it'll literally cause your server to start doing weird things. Like, I get that.
yeah, it adds more unknowns, and we don't.
And honestly, at that point, if you just said, oh, if you were like, okay, literally just don't even bother pasting this stuff, shit, okay, fine.
Is this something that we could maybe revisit in the future once that issue's been resolved with the crashes with redstone?
Yeah, I'm thinking of that because, well, again, it also depends on how successful we're able to even get the world edits devs to look at it, and as DNA, you probably know that hasn't been very successful.
They haven't even opened the bug, to be honest.
Yeah, so it's hard to say. I think I would say if world edit can get or whatever, if this issue can be fixed in some fashion, and we're reasonably confident that it's not going to happen again, then I'd be open to coming back to this and allowing it. Because as I said, my issues are more, they're not enough for me to block it. I don't like it aesthetically. I do find the complexity could become an issue.
Rumple does not
Yeah.
vibe with it.
I do not vibe with it. I think it looks not
That is
great. Yeah.
that is a valid opinion. I understand to the two admins in here that I may have judged you a little too harshly.
Yeah, it's something. I think it's something you need to.
In my messages to you, I generally prefer this conversation format because none of us sounds tone deaf. I can understand you much better.
Keep in mind
Thank you
also.
for having me on.
Yep, no worries. But I think part of it was because there's text discussion is better than actually talking face to face. So you'd lose actually some tone from that conversation. So it's worth keeping in mind for later. But I would be open. As I said, if the world edit bug can be fixed and we can be reasonably we already know that it doesn't cause any performance issues because I've already done tests on that. But if we can at least, if the bug can be fixed, then we can maybe look at it at a later date. So I think we'll say no to this, but I'm not like shutting the door completely on it if it's something that we can look at later.
Yeah, I'm of the same opinion. I will say explicitly that I am not concerned about the realism of the line. I think, I brought up the topic at the start that we allow dragons to have warps on. So actually having a line with some pistons on the side, I'm not concerned that it's not quite realistic. Similar opinion. Currently, with the unsurety around redstone, I do not wish to expand the use of redstone. Consent that we will be saying no to this topic for now, but this is not a permanent no. This is a no until such time that world edit or whatever the bug is fixed, which will allow us to re-review it.
Does that sound good, people? Any other opinions here?
So my only concern is if we postpone it till like the redstone is good, will the concern of it being like really a pain to clean up in case it fills or in case someone is just done with that and just leaves it there or agrees with it or whatever, like does that concern get alleviated with like postponing it, or would that still be an issue?
We would debate the merits of the situation at the time. So that still will be a concern, but clearly there's pros and cons to a lot of decisions. So if the pros outweigh the cons, then we'll look at it.
Yeah, it's more like this world edit bug is like a hard con, like a hard no. It's enough for us to just say no right now. But the maintenance stuff, that's more like, yeah, it's a matter of opinion, right? Like some people think it's okay, and some people think it's, it is a concern. So.
Okay, sounds good.
So with that, we will close off topic 5B, and no, we will not be repealing the ban on piston bolts due to discussions. With that, we have concluded the GSM agenda. So with that, we will open up to any questions. If you have a question, please either raise your hand in the Discord voice channel if you'd like to speak. Alternatively, if you'd like to use text, please go ahead and put it in meeting live. And no, we have not seen your question in the staff channel.
Let me see. Where is it? Oh.
Sorry, what is this?
We'll have a think about that outside of this meeting. That's more for a that's more for does it need a proposal rather than we need to get staff rather than this immediate forum. I've just put Whale back in the audience. I am seeing no questions in meeting chat and no hands up in Discord. Therefore, with that, we will close off the April 2024 GSM. Just to recap, we have decided not to promote Mountbatten to Premier, with it receiving 1 vote in favour but 9 against. We will be promoting Network Southeast to Conductor. 6 Row unfortunately will not be promoted to Conductor, and then both 5A and 5B, which were both looking at rail rules, will not be enacted. So on both fronts, rail rules will remain as is now. So thank you all for coming along, and see you all in May for the next GSM.
Bye bye. Oh, I have to turn off the event. Hold on.
Today.
There we go.
Hello, everyone.
So, I'm trying to write up the minutes because I kind of forgot. So if I need to, I might ask you guys for details if I forget anything.
Mm-hmm.
Simon, do you have time to do the website post today? For this meeting, or?
So I'll do it tomorrow rather than today, but I will do it.
Okay, thank you very much. And yeah, don't worry about May. I'll definitely take over there and do all that stuff there.
No trustee meeting notes this time. That's a change.
Thank God.
No trustee.
It adds a bit of levity to the end, but it does seem to just drag on.
Oh, I love
Quote
the
unquote
trustee
levity.
meetings.
Levity.
Levity.
We should do a promotion.
Do I get my last word as mayor now?
Oh, sorry, what did I say?
Do I get my last word as mayor now?
If you better soon, otherwise technically staff can promote you to conductor too, like any mod. So you better do it
Hang on.
before someone tries to do
wait,
it.
I can?
Okay, too late.
Too late. You didn't even get to press the promote to conductor button. And it's definitely not just this button that plays the opening bars of. Is it Take on Me?
It's actually a really good.
I think it is.
Yeah, it is a really good rendition.
Oops.
Glad.
Glove.
I think, if I remember correctly, I made this by looking at the guitar tab.
So I have just learned that apparently I have a keybind, and I have no idea what it is, but I have a keybind that enables shaders.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no.
You have Iris installed.
I do.
Yeah, pressing K enables shaders.
Ah, there we go. Didn't
Pressing
know that.
O opens pressing O opens the shader menu in case you want to change it out at some point.
Okay.
MCR on that line on the expo.
So seeing as this is a unused station, we can just go ahead and leave the GSM stuff here, can't we? And it's now claimed. Awesome. Whoever wants to make a town here can.
GSM towns
anymore. Where?
Welcome to GSMton.
Where there? No. No.
And
Don't make
actually,
a town there.
I'm going to grab my other thing of
Don't make
music.
a town here. There will be a there's a plane that's crashing or something.
Ursville's right there.
Allegedly, according to.
It would be really silly if we didn't clean up this stuff. Like let's just think. Let's say we kept doing GSMs and we just left a trail of destruction or stuff.
No. Reduce.
Hey,
reduce,
we've
recycle.
done it in places that people have endorsed.
Yeah. I don't know. If
I can grief as much as Segville as I want, as long as Segville's mayor has endorsed it going on.
I don't know if you've seen, but when the GSM went to that plane in Nuke in Zooge's town, Zooge told me, Zooge told me to leave it. Like, I don't think.
I mean, that sounds like a Zooge problem to me.
It's a Zooge problem to me. Sounds like a Zooge problem.
Where is Zooge?
Where is the Zooge? Where is he?
I don't know if he was going to clean it up. Oh, I'm still on Frumple TV. Oh, I better stop the stream.
TV.